All right, we're live. Hello, Exodus. How you doing? The chat is on display, as well as the IMDb page because we're gonna need that. So today, We're gonna talk a little bit about everything. I don't have a specific topic tonight, except that I want to talk a little bit about studio meddling, which is the practice when a director and a writer has a vision and the studio butchers it. Usually it goes like this. Usually it goes like the writer and the director. Well, the writer pitches an idea and it gets picked up by a studio. And they get the A-OK and they get the budget and everything like that. And they get a director, they cast everything, they film everything just like they want. And then the movie is subject for what they called a test screening. It means like imagine like game testing for video games, but instead of professional game testers, they give it to a certain audience. Like they invite people to watch the movie and the studio watches after the reactions to that movie to see if anything needs to be changed or blah 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 blah. And the majority of the time, the studios go with the negative reviews of it. Like, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. They never go after what people actually liked because they are trying to sell the movie to a wide audience so they can get back their budget and more. So usually it ends up with, if one person says that this movie was boring, the studio is gonna go to the writer and like, hey, or the director, and hey, can you fix that for us, please? We're gonna need that fixed before the movie's released. It might have been 50 people in that room, and one or two people said, I didn't like this scene, and the studio goes, can you change that? That is usually how it goes. Sometimes it goes a little bit further than that because notorious predator and sexual abuser Harvey Weinstein has a legacy of asking directors to shorten their movies. So if a movie has a runtime of, let's say, 1 hour and 45 minutes, he always asks them to cut it down to 90 minutes or something like that. He doesn't want that extra 15 minutes. Sometimes he was asking them to cut movies even shorter than that, leaving out vital points to the plot and making some movies trash while they're in their original form was actually not. And I have an example of that. City of Angels, The Crow. I can give you this movie because this case is kind of solid. So after the first movie, they wanted to do a sequel, and the the director and the writer went out on different internet forums and stuff like that, and asked what they wanted from a sequel. Like, they genuinely went out of their way to ask what the fans wanted for the sequels, and people said, something different, not the same story, change up a little bit, and do a little this, little that, regular feedback that you get when you make a movie. And these people took that at heart. They were like, we're gonna make a sequel to The Crow, which, by the way, is a very popular movie. I don't know if you've seen it, but either way, if you haven't seen it, you should see it. Um, so they went out of the way and make a new story for the Crow City of Angels, right? And when they did that, when they had the movie finalized, when the final cut was done, and they were presenting it to the producers, I even think that this was Harvey Weinstein. Uh, the day the test audience was a little bit about it, but to be fair, we don't know if the test audience was fans of The Crow. They were just random people, you know. Okay, so Joe likes Rambo movies. He's not gonna like a Crow movie, you know. And well, they had the idea of the that the Crow is an eternal being, sort of, that possesses another human person, making that person immortal. And he had his own story in this movie. Um, but then the producers came in, and Harvey Weinstein and others. And after the screening of the movie, they were like, "Can't you make it more like the first one?" And the writer and the producer, we can see it here, director Tim Pope, and writers James Barr. Well, that's the original comic. David S. Goyer. Um, they didn't want to do that, but they did it because they have gotten, a lot of money to do the movie. They have to abide by the rules of capitalism, because either way you want to look at, someone gave them a lot of money to make a movie. They made a movie, and that person wasn't happy, so they gotta have to change stuff to please the person that put in the money to make the movie, right? So it's well, they started to do that. There was a second screening, I believe, and well, they were still happy. The movie was too long. It separated itself too much from the first movie. So basically, what happened was, in the end, they made a movie. They cut out so much of the movie, it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. There are key parts cut out. Everything to make it look like the first movie again. So it's super cut. It's badly cut. I'm gonna guess that is out of spite from the creators of it. So it looks more like the first movie, and then it premiered in theaters, and it bombed. It didn't go well at all, because people didn't ask for this movie. They asked for something else, something to distance from the first movie. One part of that is, of course, of what one actor of the first The Crow dying on set by being accidentally shot. Brandon Lee was accidentally shot on the set, which, so they wanted to make another Crow movie that wasn't dependent on the first one or his death, but in the spirit of the comic The Crow. And they tried to do that, but the studios made them change it into this garbage that we see today. Because if you get the script of The Crow City of Angels, I don't have time to go through the script today, but there is a really good movie in there. Like, the script for this movie is really good. Like, it's a great movie. I would love to see that movie. Unfortunately, we only get to see snippets of it because Harvey Weinstein and other people thought that it was a little bit too different from the first movie. But here's the thing. here's the thing. Those fucking suit and ties, right? They don't understand context. In context, the movie was the same. Like, it was about the same kind of legend. It was just the spirit moved sort of to a new host, who had, the ability to be the crow. And but the story in itself, the plot wasn't the same, but the lore was. It was the same universe. It basically this. Imagine if Lord of the Rings was made. Imagine Lord of the Rings, and it came out. It made fuck ton of money, and then you're gonna do the Two Towers, right? And the producers just comes up and like, it's not like the first movie. And then they said like, yeah, because it's continuation of the story. It's yeah, but we want it more as the first movie. So you would have the same movie again, and like that's basically what they did with the Hobbit. It's the Lord of the Rings trilogy again, but worse. It's I, I don't know. I know they play with a lot of money. I think I don't know what this movie had estimated budget. It's 13 millions. It's not that much actually. It made back that money, so I guess it's all right. But that's mostly because of the success of The Crow. So there is a great movie within this movie. It is there, but it will never be released because they tried to get the director's cut of the movie, but was denied that. Which is also kind of a testament of that, the producers actually know that they failed. Like, the producers know they fucked it up, and that's why we're never getting a director's cut, like a true director's cut of the movie. It's not gonna happen, because that would be admitting to how fucking shit the product turned out. And this happens a lot. I can even use a much simpler explanation for this kind of shittery. Paranormal Activity. Do you remember the ending of that one? Yeah, that's not the real ending. There are two endings to this movie. One is in the director's cut, by the way, but it's you have to go through the menus to get it. And I don't know which. Well, there are three endings, by the way, but I don't know which ending you saw. The ending I saw was Heather. I think her name is Heather. No, Katie. Was Katie walking up to the camera, or something like that, and then the movie kind of ended on a jump scare. Typical Blumhouse thing. But one of the endings that was actually filmed was Katie gunned down by police. She goes out. You see the whole. Yeah, you see it on the screen. This door here. She goes out of the door here, and two officers turn up, and she tries to attack them, and she is gunned down by the officers. Which I feel is a much better ending, because it's an actual, that's what a demon would do. A demon wouldn't go and scare a fucking camera. Why would a demon that is possessing Katie go out of the way, murder the boyfriend, go up to the door, and then walk back and scare the camera? What kind of sense does that make? It doesn't make sense. None of the sense, right? But the ending where she goes out to the hallway and is met by two police officers, and she tries to attack them, and they gun her down. That's an ending. Like that's what a demon would do. He wouldn't give a shit about Katie. He's just there for bloodshed, right? So no, but that ending wasn't exciting enough. So Blumhouse production went in, because that is what they do, and edited in a jump scare by the end, where the demon looks into the camera and scary, and why we're on Blumhouse, maybe we should talk about that too, because Blumhouse has done this to several movies, and I'm gonna say that I'm not a particular fan of Sinister. I'm not. But, I mean, it's okay. The first half of the movie is fucking great. The rest is, you know. But I have learned since then that a lot of that is due to that it is a Blumhouse production. So, it's, there was change. I mean, because if you look at Sinister, one really great scene that I fucking love in a movie is when he walks around in the room and the children are walking around him, as apparitions, but in slow motion, and he doesn't see them. That scene is great. It's so creepy. It's wonderful. But I never liked, the villain of Sinister, Bagul, the goth rocker that is the enemy of it. First of all, he looks absolutely stupid. He looks like if I went in and made makeup to play a Scarlet on this show. Wait, yeah, I did it, but he looks like that, and he could have been creepy if it wasn't undone by the ending. Because not only was that jump scare used once in the movie, it was used twice. It's absolutely fucking cheap. It's like, in the end scene, you see the camera moves into the box of the forgotten films of the murders that Ethan Hawke finds, and Bagul jumps up out from the side, final scare. That is just a mirror of another scene in the movie when Bagul jumps out the same way. I think they changed the saturation a bit, but they just used that again, just to get the final scare, and that was also a studio edition, because the original movie, as it was stated, was gonna zoom in on the movie box and then just cut out, which is a much better ending. Hey King, how you doing? That ending would have been so much more powerful to the movie, because it just zooms in on the forgotten movies, and then it just fades to black. Like, you don't know what happens to those cursed videos. You're never gonna know. Well, until Sinister 2 came and you just lost interest in that franchise for fucking ever, because it's garbage. It's garbage. It's hot garbage because it makes a lot of money, but it's garbage. Okay, so it's garbage. But that is another Blumhouse. Paranormal Activity and Blumhouse and Sinister, both Blumhouse. A third Blumhouse production that I can prove you that they do this in is in Unfriended, an absolute shit movie about a girl on a laptop talking on Skype with her friends, and shit started happening, and one of their friends suicided, and now she's coming back as a spirit within the computers and join their Skype conversation, and they can't kick her out, and she starts to troll them, until they eventually kill themselves over a game of like Truth or Dare. And the movie is horrible. Don't watch it. But the ending of that movie is the worst. I mean, I could stomach the rest. You know, it was shit. It was absolute garbage. Um, but the ending is perfect Blumhouse. It's you see the laptop screen folding together, and then there is the ghost of their suicided friend with pointed teeth scaring you one last time before the movie ends. And I'm just, oh, for fuck's sake. Um, so there is a lot of movies out there that have suffered um, studio decisions. Like you have, is it Edge of Tomorrow? I think it is Edge of the. Yeah, it is this movie. This movie, Edge of Tomorrow. This is not a horror movie. We're gonna talk about it anyway a little bit. Uh, Edge of Tomorrow didn't do that well, but that was not because the movie is bad. It was because it was really weirdly marketed. Um, so okay, so let me explain. The movie. Uh, so the movie. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's one. Bill Paxton was on in the movie, by the way. That's really cool. Yeah, here we are. Warner Brothers, one of the most scummiest motherfuckers out there, invested over 100 million in marketing campaign for Edge of Tomorrow. The film was initially titled "All You Need Is Kill," after the novel. Uh, but that isn't really true because the marketing of it said "Live, Die, Repeat." Uh, but that was just the tagline apparently. But they used it on the posters. The posters of the movie didn't say Edge of Tomorrow. It said Live, Die, Repeat. But the movie was titled Edge of Tomorrow. So when the movie came out, no one knew what the fuck that movie was because they thought they were waiting for the movie Live, Die, Repeat. And then the movie doesn't do good, as good as it should. It's probably still profited a whole lot, but um, but people didn't know what movie they were waiting for. They thought they were waiting for Live, Die, Repeat, but they were actually waiting for The Edge of Tomorrow. Now, how can you fuck up that bad as a studio and then fucking blame it on the director and writer that they didn't do a good enough story? Look at this. Look at it. Look at it. It's a Live, Die, Repeat here and Edge of Tomorrow here. The first thing you see is Live, Die, Repeat. This design is weird. It's weird, right? Because if I were a marketing person thing, I would have put Edge of Tomorrow up here, like really big, and then put Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt down here. But then like the tagline could still be in the middle or down here instead. So you know it's a tagline because usually when you write shit, when you write anything like a book or just a chapter in a book or a script or a movie, the title is at top. Or if you have the tagline here in the middle, if you have it here, quotation marks. Like, sure, you can blame people for being stupid, but can you really? I mean, this is horrible. This is just fucking awful. Awful. It's not a bad movie. The marketing of it is fucking horrible. Uh, that was a thread. I was hoping for an article. Um, this is a little bit more recent one. What really happening with the Friday the Third? Continue without supporting. Wow, that made me feel horrible. Holy shit! All right, so there is some problems with the Friday the 13th brand. And I think I mentioned it before, but but Paramount that owns the property, I still think they do, um, did have a new Friday the 13th movie up until last year, like in their list of upcoming movies, and then one day that one just disappeared. And that is because uh, let's see. Yeah, the part of the problem is getting another Friday the 13th movie going was figuring out what direction to take it. There were many ideas, including possibly doing a found footage version. I would have loved that. That could have been really cool. Ultimately, a reboot was settled on. Coming with director Breck, but that never came to pass. But it got very close. Here's what Fuller has to say about it. Blah blah blah. Victor Miller wrote the original Friday the 13th movie, and the lawsuit Brad Fuller described has been a thorn in the side of the franchise. Until the lawsuit is resolved, which has to do with the rights to the horror series, nothing can be touched. With the rights in question, it's understandable that no studio wants to touch Jason for the time being. Andrew Form chimed in, having less to say, but admitting not making this new Friday the 13th movie is a source of great disappointment. Um, all right, so the problem is this: there are several studios that own Friday the 13th. They own different parts of of it. We have Paramount and we have New Line Cinema, and now we also have the creator of Friday the 13th, Victor Miller, in on the thing. And well, it doesn't really help anything. Um, so right now, no one is gonna a name change. Yeah, it won't help because Jason as a character is copyrighted. Uh, so you can't change the name of it because that would just make it, they already done that, like Hatchet or other brand names for it. They can't use the hockey masked killer because he's intertwined with the brand, so to speak. So they can't use Jason. The other movies that have been made under studios, Hockey mask killer. Yeah. Lumpy gravy. All right. No, no. The problem basically here is they can't use Jason. So the other movies have been approved. You know, the other movies that are under Paramount and New Line Cinema were all approved movies. But this new movie that Paramount was gonna do was not an approved one. So there is a dispute on who owns the brand and who owns the franchise, and also the creator of Friday the 13th chimes in with his own complaints. So this is a clusterfuck. Like this is really a clusterfuck, which is also why there isn't, many of these cool, boxed, um, these box sets of all the movies. You'd never see, a hockey mask you can open or anything like that. That is because of this. Because no one can do it. The only thing you can do is that someone outside of this lawsuit has all the movies and put them together in one box. They can't do special Friday the 13th boxes because no one knows who would own the rights to the profit of that. So this is the free market at its very, very best. No, yeah, I'm just kidding. It's the worst. It's the worst. It's an absolute clusterfuck of rights and who owns what and who should get what. I'm pretty sure if someone said, "Yeah, but I own that movie," someone would say, "Yeah, but I own the mask, so you can't use that," or something like that. It's kind of fucked. I was looking through Bloody Disgusting really quick if I see something. Yeah, Lars von Trier's movie's out. It's not out. It was shown in Cannes, Cannes, a festival that he has been banned from, by the way, but was allowed in again. He was banned because he said he had sympathies for Hitler. Basically, he was banned because he's an awful person. Lars von Trier is kind of awful. I don't mind that he do movies at all, and anyone enjoying his movies can do that. I don't care. I don't enjoy his movies. They are not that I'm disgusted with them. Like some people seem very disgusted with Lars von Trier's movies. I just find them super pretentious, hot garbage. Like it's he kind of likes to portray them to have a depth because he's super intellectual or something like that, and it's just endless excuses of showing tits and cocks. I mean, it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like I saw Nymphomaniac and I was just like, yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. Was it a good movie? Did the actors look good? Yeah, they did. Did they like sex? Yeah, a lot apparently. They liked a lot of sex. It's kind of I kind of have the same issue with Ken Park. Like, I understand the purpose of Ken Park, like how the whole movie is just a setup for the suicide it begins with. You know, it's Ken Park usually is. I see Ken Park as a trip down misery lane. You know, it begins with the suicide, and then the movie progresses, like people trying to handling stuff, and they do the most decadent things they can think of. They have group sex. They have one of them die of autoerotic asphyxiation because he's wanking off and strangling himself. It's I mean, that movie has some purpose. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I like it particularly, but I can see the artsy idea of it. When it comes to von Trier, I can also see there is something there, but he's very. I sometimes I just think he wants to see naked people. It's like you make movies, but you don't want to be a porn director, but you want to see people fuck. It's like I'm alright with that, I guess. I don't care. I don't care that his movies are distributed or anything. He can do whatever he wants. But I usually don't see him as that good. Well, maybe you can find some grade of decadence or society going down the shit spiral or whatever. I think that is basically what he's trying to say usually with his movies. But they are not very fun watches either. Like, it's not. I don't know. If I want to see a really artsy movie, I would go to like Donnie Darko, which is one of my favorite deep movies. I mean, it's not super deep, but it's it's existential to the core. Like you question reality enough in that movie, and how everything works and stuff like that. I really like it. So that's a movie you should check out if you haven't. If you haven't seen Donnie Darko, I don't know why you're following me. I'm gonna start referencing that movie a lot. Um, a lot of things are happening in the horror community. One thing we can see is getting bigger budgets. Probably gonna get a lot more. Oh my god, this movie, I need to see this one. Blu-ray review. Grizzly is a Jaws ripoff with a bear. So instead of a bigger boat, they're gonna need a bigger truck. This looks kind of fun. There is a movie about a bear. Is it called Outback? Yeah, not that movie. Not that movie. Movie with a bear. Backcountry. There we have it. Backcountry. Amazing Google search right there. Movie with a bear. This movie, this bear movie is great. Oh yeah, of course they're doing that. This movie is a great bear movie. Thunder, 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 cats. Thunder, 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 thunder. Lightning scares them. This is a great bear movie, but I need to watch Grizzly though. If it's a bear copy of Jaws, I'm gonna like it. You know when you're reviewing movies, and a lot of sites do that, especially the fucking piece of shit site Screen Rant does this. You know how video games reviewers also always say this is the Dark Souls of horror movie reviewers do that exact same thing when it comes to creature features or nature murdering humans, but they use Jaws. So they're going like, this is the Jaws of squid movies, or this is the Jaws of pangolin movies, or this is the Jaws of African bush snake movies, or something like that. It's super annoying. Yeah, there's a lot going on in that screenshot alone, which is why I want to see the movie. It's a piece of art right there, and it's direct to Blu-ray, so it's gonna be amazing. The Dark Souls of Jaws of Anaconda of bear movies. I kind of want to see that. Do not judge. I kind of want to see that. Um, all right. Also, just throwing that quickly out there, I'm not interested in Deadpool or Deadpool 2. Um, I know it's big. I know people like Deadpool, but I'm not a comic guy in that kind of sense, so I don't care. And also the comedy of Deadpool is, yeah, it's I don't find it very funny. I understand why people find it funny, like, but I don't. Um, yeah, I mean, no, 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 no. Don't say it like that. You know what? Humor is subjective. So by that point, I don't really. I just don't care about the movies because I don't. I'm not invested in Deadpool, and I don't like, and I'm not much for the humor in Deadpool. How it's present. I can appreciate some of the jokes though, that I can do because some of them are legit funny, but the type of how it's presented and all that, I kind of I don't care. But I don't think people like Deadpool because it's popular. I think people like Deadpool because they like Deadpool. You know, there's nothing wrong with liking Deadpool, but so I'm just putting it out there. I'm not gonna do a review of it. I'm not gonna talk a lot about it because it's not my thing. Yeah, I saw the first Deadpool when it arrived on Blu-ray. I even own it, um, but it's not really my thing. So I don't find it that funny. I don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is, but there's something. I think in superhero terms, I like more humor that is not fourth wall breaking. Like uh, because Deadpool does a lot of reference humor. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking and a lot of pop cultural jokes. Um, and I understand that people find it funny. Yeah, I like Logan. Logan is great. Logan is really great. I like it. Uh, yeah, it's I like Logan. Um, I mean, I'm not that much big of a comic guy. I only read Spider Man and Turtles. But we also have it there, like Turtles in the comics and the 2001 series is much more gritty, real, and brutal than most people think of Turtles. Like they think of Turtles as the 90s cartoon and as the movies that came out. But the way that the comics um, present Turtles and the way that the 2001 animated series present Turtles is way more brutal, is way more gritty, and is way more, emotionally invested. Uh, the Crow fits that too. Like in the first season of the 2001 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there is a decapitation shown. Well, in the shadow, it shows in the shadow, like the shadow of the decapitation. But it's shown. You know, Leonardo decapitates Shredder, and like you don't. That is not usually what you get. So for me, that show is the real shit. Like that is the Turtles I want. I know a lot of people don't want that version of the Turtles. They want that goofy, stupid Turtles. Um, but I think that is. I like it. I like it when it's a little bit darker. Um, and I mean, Deadpool is super dark. So don't get me wrong with that. I just think that the timing of the jokes and how the jokes are made are not fitting in what I find funny. That is as I said, I can appreciate the jokes. So I'm not gonna shit on Deadpool, but I'm not gonna review the movie or anything. So don't wait for that because that's not gonna happen. I think there are other reviewers that are well better ingrained with Deadpool that can give a decent, review of it. And from the looks of it, it looks like it's gonna get good reception. So if you like that movie, you should go and see it. Um, oh wait, what is this? Universal's Dark Universe not quite dead? Ah, it's John Squires. He's Deadpool 3. Oh my god, don't make. No, I would be forced to see that. Tom Cruise starring The Mummy, which was shit. I have seen the movie. I didn't review it because I thought it was gonna be too negative for the channel. I said this before that I try to focus my video content on things that I like, and I focus my horror hotel series on things that needs to be discussed. That can be a little bit more uh, negative than the other videos. But I try to keep my reviews to movies that are that I go see and expect something good. But if it turns out bad, I would give it a bad score. But I never go to and see a movie that isn't something that I would think is good in the first place. So that is my thing. Uh, the Mummy, the Mummy, I didn't go and see. I borrowed someone else's copy of it. Too negative. Yeah, yeah. As I said, I tried to make my channel like, a movie can be bad, but you expect it to be something you can enjoy. Like I expected to enjoy the Rings, you know, Rings when that came out, but it was shit, so I gave it a bad score. But I paid for. I went to the movies and paid for it because I expected a good movie. I didn't get that. So that is kind of my thing. If I think I'm interested in a movie, I go and see it, then I review it. If I'm not interested in a movie, I'm not gonna do a video about it. Like I'm only gonna talk about movies that I'm interested in seeing. Whether they are turns out they are good or bad, it doesn't really matter. The initial thought has to be that I have some interest in seeing them. The Mummy I was interested in seeing, but not for the reason of yeah, this is gonna be a good movie. It was because I can't wait to see the fucking disaster this is gonna be, because I knew as soon as I heard that Tom Cruise was gonna be in it, I was like, this is going to be total fucking garbage. This is going to be so hot garbage. And then Universal just came out like, yeah, we're gonna do a dark universe. You know, with all the Universal monsters they have. And I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. And this even makes it worse because both start and end the universe, with the universe architect subsequently bailing and the plug being pulled on the planned second film, Bride of Frankenstein. Why would that be the second movie? Wouldn't a reboot of Frankenstein, you know, the monster, be the second movie? Wouldn't that be better? No fucking wonder this fucking universe went under. They started with the Mummy, which is fine, but then we're like, yeah, Bride of Frankenstein, without establishing fucking Frankenstein? Who was sitting at the tables here? If you're gonna create the universe, you need to establish it. Like Marvel has established it for 300 million movies. I seem like 4 of them, but like, how can you go from the Mummy to the? Yeah, that would make more sense. But the thing with this universe was that they were gonna reinvent all the Universal monsters, which makes Bride of Frankenstein not make sense. Spawn of Frankenstein kind of maybe makes sense, but not really. They wouldn't make a modern Frankenstein. Yeah, that would make sense. But it's been a while since we heard a peep from Dark Universe, which we assume is completely abandoned. But a recent Instagram post from artist Robert Varias brought to our attention the website Universal Monsters Universe today. Gives us the. I put this in quotation marks. Gives us some hope that Dark Universe is completely dead. According to Varias, he had a meeting. Blah 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 blah. You know what? They can end the Dark Universe because Guillermo del Toro just went in there and did The Shape of Water. He just floored them. There is no coming back from that one because Universal owns the rights to the Creature of the Black Lagoon, and Guillermo del Toro just took that and fucked it all over. Like, he even won Oscars. Like, he fucked them right in the ass. Like, he just went in there and I can do this shit, you can. So he did it. With fish dicks. Like, he completely demolished their whole thing. Like, Guillermo del Toro would be able to do a werewolf story that is based on Wolfman, which is also a universal creature, and make a better movie than they can ever make. They can't even come close to what he made. They showed that with doing Tom Cruise in The fucking Mummy. And that movie is shit. Damn, bring back Brendan Fraser if you're gonna do The Mummy. Because at least those movies are fun. Imhotep, 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 Imhotep. You know? Those movies are fun. The fuck are you doing, guys? Like, fuck off. Just stop it. Sell the rights. Sell all the rights. Sell it to anyone who's capable of doing a movie. You sell them to me, and I can sell them, so that I make a lot of money of selling Universal monsters. I think that is a great idea. Actually, I think that is the best idea. Also, if I can get the rights for $1 a piece, and I can sell them, you know, I get to meet celebrities because they're gonna want to buy my stuff. Since I now own the Dark Universe in this hypothetical scenario that I just made up. It's to ignore that. It's just me being greedy on main. Yeah, I don't think the Dark Universe is a thing that will happen at all. I think it will happen for maybe 1 or 2 movies more, but if it is anything like The Mummy, it's gonna fucking suck. It's really gonna fucking suck. And with that, I think this episode is done. It was a fun episode to do. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, but you know, you can't escape a thing sucking just because you have Tom Cruise. Apparently, it doesn't work that way. No, but I think I'm gonna end this episode on this note. We had a good little conversation here going, mostly me ranting. But thank you everyone for joining in. This episode will be up on Sunday on YouTube if you want to see it. But thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. And you guys continue to have a good Friday.